Modern burnout rarely gives a warning. The crushing weight of hardship strikes abruptly, applying immediate pressure that threatens to halt your forward momentum completely. When you face this sudden pressure, the standard cultural advice is to look inward. We are told to self-reflect or find ourselves. But relying on introspection during an active crisis often accelerates a psychological collapse. Viktor Frankl was a neurologist and psychiatrist who observed human psychology under the absolute extremes of human suffering. Operating as a clinician inside a concentration camp, he noticed something that contradicted our modern obsession with looking inward. He concluded that surviving immense pressure is not fueled by discovering who you are inside. It is fueled by actively identifying what external thing you are enduring the pressure for. Frankl documented a specific anomaly in the camps. Survival rates did not strictly correlate with a prisoner's physical fitness. While Frankl observed this almost directly to inmates who possessed a concrete, highly specific goal waiting for them in the future, he observed the exact inverse as well. When inmates lost their vision of the future, they deteriorated rapidly. Even when their daily physical circumstances remained exactly the same, individuals who lost their forward momentum frequently died within days. This points to a psychological mechanism we can call the future anchor. It is the act of pulling a specific outcome from your future into your present, which alters your current threshold for physical and emotional pain. Without a named future anchor, this hardship has no utility. It remains an inescapable vacuum of meaningless suffering, rather than acting as a survivable, temporary cost you pay to reach a destination. While Frankl observed this under conditions of historical trauma, modern clinical psychology has spent decades testing the mechanism in everyday environments. Beginning in 2006, researcher Michael Steger used the Meaning in Life questionnaire to operationalize Frankl's theory and measure it across large populations. This chart illustrates the primary data finding. By tracking presence of meaning metrics against depression markers, we see a consistent inverse correlation. A steadily rising presence of meaning matches lower rates of clinical depression. When we expand this chart to track a third variable, the scale of the effect becomes clear. As a person's meaning score moves upward, their measurable resilience to sudden life hardships rises alongside it. Meaning is a load-bearing psychological mechanism required for human endurance. You build this structure through externalization. Meaning is created by committing to something outside of yourself, a specific task, a body of work, or a person you care for. Frankl relied on this heavily. In the camps, he maintained his focus by mentally reconstructing an unfinished manuscript he intended to publish. The book became a tangible task demanding his survival. There is a limit to this tool. Frankl's framework was validated in conditions of unchosen, extreme suffering. This tool should not be used to tolerate avoidable miseries. If you are stuck in a toxic job or a harmful relationship where leaving is a better option, searching for meaning in the pain can function as a reason to stay in a bad situation. The future anchor is designed for surviving the unavoidable, not for accepting the unacceptable. The survival data points towards a strategic advantage in building the psychological architecture early in your life timeline. Because commitments function as a reserve of meaning, your 20s are a critical window. Choosing a specific task or person to live for now prepares the mind for the higher demands that arrive in your 30s and 40s. By age 40, the absence of a named purpose changes how you process difficulty. Without a reserve to draw on, the same objective hardship is experienced as meaningless suffering rather than a meaningful cost. You cannot summon psychological resilience on demand. You have to actively engineer it during times of stability, so it is ready when unavoidable tragedy strikes. You can audit your psychological architecture right now with the one-sentence test. Write down one sentence naming the specific person, task, or body of work you are enduring your current life difficulties in service of. If you stare at a blank page and cannot name one, that absence is the core problem. Finding a specific external anchor must become your immediate priority. Frankl's legacy shows that we possess the agency to rename the nature of our current pain by anchoring it to a future goal. By identifying the external purpose you are fighting for, you convert the weight of modern hardship into a survivable journey forward.